You watched the main episode. You felt it. Maybe you paused it at some point and just sat there because something landed in a way you weren't expecting. Good. That discomfort you felt, that's not a problem. That's the trap losing its grip on you for the first time. And that feeling right there is exactly why you're here. This video is not a recap. It is not a motivational pep talk. It is not a list of things to think about. This is the antidote. Direct answers to the direct questions we posed. Real, practical, actionable, no fluff, no filler. We asked you 6 hard questions in that episode. Today we answer them together, because awareness without action is just frustration with better vocabulary, and that somewhere starts right now. We explored the thought that the system was never built for you, and the first question we asked was, what if everything you were taught about success was designed to benefit someone else and not you? Stop waiting for permission from the system that trapped you to tell you how to escape it. That permission is never coming. The system was not designed to free you. It was designed to keep you functional within it. That is not a conspiracy. That is just how systems work. They optimize for their own survival. So here is the practical answer. You have to build a parallel track. Not quit everything tomorrow. Not burn it down. A parallel track. Here is what a parallel track actually means. It means that while you continue to show up for your job, paying your bills, meeting your obligations, doing what is required, you are simultaneously building something on the side that belongs entirely to you. Not for your employer, not for someone else's vision, for yours. Your job, whatever it is, becomes your funding source, while you build something that belongs entirely to you. 1 hour a day, not the whole day. 1 hour where you are working on your own freedom and nobody else's bottom line. A parallel track could look like a lot of things. It could be developing a skill you can eventually charge for: writing, coaching, consulting, design, or public speaking. It could be creating content around something you know well. It could be building a small product, a course, or a service that solves a problem people already have. It could be investing a small amount each month into something that grows whether you are watching it or not. The specific track matters less than the fact that you are on one. The key is this: your parallel track does not have to replace your income overnight. It just has to exist. It just has to be running alongside everything else you are already doing. Because a parallel track that earns $10 a month is infinitely more powerful than a parallel track that does not exist yet. It proves the concept, it builds the muscle, and it compounds over time in ways that a salary never can. The question you need to answer right now, today, is this: what is the one thing I could build, develop, or create that would still have value even if my employer disappeared tomorrow? Write that down. That answer is your parallel track. That is where your 1 hour goes, every single day until it becomes 2 hours, then 4, then your whole life. The system taught you to give everything to someone else's dream. The antidote is to start quietly, consistently, without announcing it, building your own. And the second step is just as important. Open your calendar right now and block 1 hour, the same time every day, and label it your parallel track. Treat it like a meeting you cannot cancel. No emails, no social media, no exceptions. That 1 hour is the most important appointment in your entire week because it is the only one being held completely on your behalf. The second question we explored was, who decided that the truth had an age requirement, and who benefited from you not knowing it sooner? The people who benefited were not evil. They were just inside the same trap, and a trapped person can only hand you the map they were given. Your parents worked hard because it worked for them, or at least it seemed to. Your teachers taught what the curriculum told them to teach. Your boss promotes the hustle because the company rewards it. Nobody sat in a room and decided to deceive you, but the result is the same as if they had. So what do you do with that? You give yourself the same grace you would give a child who was never taught something. You were not behind. You were not foolish. You were just working with the information you had. Now you have better information. That is the only thing that matters from this point forward. You become the person who breaks the pattern, not just for yourself, for every person watching you, your kids, your siblings, your friends. The moment you start living differently, building leverage instead of just hours, asking questions instead of just following, you become the person in someone else's life who finally tells them the truth on time. And the practical step that goes with that is this: start with one honest conversation, not a speech, not a lecture, just one conversation with someone in your life who is still deep inside the trap you just started walking walking out of. Maybe it is your son who just took a job he already hates because it pays well. Maybe it is your friend who has been grinding for 10 years with nothing to show for it but exhaustion. Maybe it is a younger version of yourself sitting right across from you at the dinner table. You do not need a plan. You do not need to have all the answers. You just need to ask them one question, the same kind of question this episode asked you, a question they have never been given permission to ask themselves. Try this one. If your job disappeared tomorrow, what would you actually have that is yours? That question alone will start something in them that may take years to fully unfold, but it starts today. Because of you. That is not a small thing. That is the pattern breaking in real time. Question 3 asked, is 80,000 hours worth it? How many have you already spent? And if you could get them back, would you spend them the same way? I am not going to let you sit in regret about the hours already gone. That is not what this is. Those hours are not coming back, and thinking about them does not free you. What frees you is what you do with the hours you still have. Here is the math that actually matters right now. If you are 30 years old, you have roughly 280,000 waking hours left in your life. If you are 40, you have around 210,000. If you are 50, still over 140,000 hours remaining. The trap already took some of them. Fine, it is what it is, but make a decision right now that it does not get the rest. Here is your practical move. Sit down this week, not someday, this week, and write out what you would do differently if you could start over knowing what you know now. Not to torture yourself, to extract the instruction manual that your experience has already written for you. What did those hours teach you that has value? What skills did you build that you own regardless of the job? What relationships did you build that are genuinely yours? Here is the truth of the matter, and it should give you great confidence moving forward. The hours already spent are not lost. You are not starting from zero. You are starting from experience. And experience, used correctly, is the most powerful form of leverage that exists. The hours already spent are not lost. They are the foundation. Build on them. Every scar from the hustle trap is actually a data point. Every dead end you hit, every promotion that did not come, every raise that changed your lifestyle but not your life, that is information. And information in the right hands is power. You just finally have the right hands. There is an old saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Your roots are already in the ground. You just did not know what you were growing. Your experience is not a consolation prize for lost time. It is the very thing that makes everything you are going to build from here more durable, more real, and more yours than anything built by someone who never had to fight for it. So stop looking at the years behind you like they were wasted. Start looking at them like they were training. You know what you know, and that skill can never be taken away from you. The thing you are about to build, it is going to need every single thing those years taught you. And the second step here is this. Write out what you would tell a younger version of yourself on day one. What would you say? What do you wish someone had told you? Write it down. That wisdom is not just for you. It is your first piece of content, your first coaching framework, your first product. The instruction manual your life already wrote is worth more than you know. Question 4 asked, they call it a raise, but when was the last time a raise actually changed your life? A raise changes your lifestyle. It almost never changes your life, and there is a massive difference between those two things. Your lifestyle is the size of your apartment, the car you drive, the restaurants you eat at. Your life is your time, your freedom, your ability to choose what tomorrow looks like. A raise that becomes a nicer car payment is not a raise. It is a lateral move with better branding. So here is the practical antidote. Every time you get a raise, every single time, before you upgrade anything, ask yourself this question. Does this money make me more free or more dependent? If you take that raise and put a meaningful portion directly toward building leverage, an investment, a skill, a side project, a debt eliminated, that raise actually changes something real. If you absorb it entirely into your lifestyle, you just built yourself a taller fence. The raise is not the enemy. What you do with it is. From this point forward, every pay increase gets split. A portion goes to your life. You earned it. Enjoy some of it. But a non-negotiable portion goes toward your exit. Always, without exception. That is how a raise becomes a tool instead of a trap. The second step is to figure out your freedom number, not your salary, not what you wish you made. Your freedom number is the minimum monthly income you would need from sources that do not require you to show up anywhere, just to cover your non-negotiables: housing, food, transportation, utilities. Write that number down. Most people are shocked by how achievable it actually is when they finally see it clearly. That number is your new target, and the rule that gets you there is this. Every time money comes in, from a raise, a bonus, a tax return, a gift, anything, a non-negotiable percentage goes toward that number first. Not after bills, not after fun. First, the freedom number is your destination. Together, they turn every raise from a lifestyle upgrade into a step toward the exit. Question 5 asked, what happens to the person who spent their whole life perfecting a skill that a machine can now do in seconds? This one is urgent. Not because it should scare you, but because it should wake you up faster than anything else in this video. AI is not coming for ambitious, strategic, creative thinkers. It is coming for repetitive, replaceable, task-based work. The very work that hustle culture glamorizes. The head down, do more, work faster grind is exactly what machines do better than humans. And they never get tired, never ask for a raise, and never call in sick. So here is the harsh reality check question every single one of us needs to answer honestly. In the next 3 to 5 years, can my current job, or a significant portion of it, be replaced by AI or some form of automation? Not someday, not in theory, in the next 3 to 5 years. If the honest answer is yes, or even maybe, that is not a reason to panic. That is a reason to move, because the window to get ahead of this is open right now, and it will not stay open forever. The first step is to identify the skill gap and fill it intentionally. The skills that AI cannot replace require judgment, creativity, emotional intelligence, leadership, and human connection. But here's what most people miss. You can also learn to work with AI instead of competing against it. The person who understands how to use AI as a tool is exponentially more valuable than the person it replaces. Start learning how AI works in your industry right now. Not at an expert level, at a functional level, enough to direct it, use it, and build with it. Platforms like Coursera, Udemy, LinkedIn Learning, and Google's free AI courses will get you there. Most cost less than a dinner out. Some are completely free. There is no excuse for not starting this week. The second step is to build a skill that creates income outside of your current job, not as a hobby, as a hedge. Think about what you know, what you are good at, and what someone else would pay to learn or have done. Copywriting, coaching, consulting, design, video editing, sales, public speaking, financial planning. These are skills that can be developed online, offered independently, and scaled over time, completely outside of any employer's reach. Pick one that aligns with where the future is going, and dedicate a minimum of 2 hours a week to developing it. In 1 year, that is over 100 hours of deliberate skill building that belongs entirely to you, regardless of what any algorithm, automation, or corporate restructuring decides to do with your current position. The people who thrive in an AI world are not the hardest workers. They are the clearest thinkers and the most prepared movers. Start moving. And question 6, the one that haunts people at 3 a.m. Did I actually build the life I wanted, or did I just work very hard to help someone else build theirs? If you are asking that question, even just quietly, even just sometimes, the answer is already telling you something. You do not ask that question when you are fully living on your own terms. You ask it when something is off, and you have been too busy to stop and look at it. So let us look at it right now. Pull out a piece of paper. Draw a line down the middle. On the left side, write what I have built for someone else. On the right side, write what I have built for myself. On the left, write down everything that disappears if you leave: your job title, your work network, the processes and systems you built inside their company, the relationships that only exist because of your position, the reputation that lives inside their walls. On the right, write down everything that is permanently yours: skills that travel with you anywhere, knowledge you own completely, relationships you have genuinely invested in as a person, not as an employee, any income stream, asset, or project that exists outside of your employer's control. Look at the ratio. That ratio is not a judgment. It is a compass. It shows you exactly where to start redirecting your energy. You do not have to abandon the left side overnight, but from this point forward, every single week, you intentionally add one thing to the right side, something that is yours, completely, permanently, regardless of what any employer decides. One skill developed, one relationship invested in as a person, 1 hour spent on your parallel track. One small asset started. Small and consistent beats large and occasional every single time. That is how you stop building someone else's dream and start building your own. Not in a dramatic moment, in small, consistent decisions made every single week from today forward. I want to leave you with something that is not in any book, not in any course. The hustle trap does not just steal your time. It steals your imagination. When you are always grinding, always in execution mode, you stop being able to picture anything different. The trap becomes all you can see because it takes up every single hour you have. The antidote to the hustle trap is not rest. It is not quitting. It is not even working smarter. The real antidote is reclaiming your imagination, giving yourself enough space and enough permission to picture a version of your life that does not depend on the trap to survive. Because once you can see it clearly, specifically in real detail, the path to it starts to reveal itself. Not all at once, step by step, but it reveals itself to the people who stopped being too busy to look. You are not too busy anymore. You just chose to be here instead of scrolling. That was not an accident. That was the beginning of the exit. Go do the work. You already know the trap. Now walk toward the exit. I'll see you in the next one.